Okay. Is there anybody there? Hi Sean, how's it going? Yes, so multi-splurging, at least that's what I'm aiming for. That's if I don't get distracted. So I think the best thing to do is to start the first one with a clock. And I suppose two things I'm gonna bear in mind is going to be my ACE, which is I don't know if were you here when I was explaining what the ACE was, the actual core experience. So I have an actual core experience of what I want my listeners to experience when they hear my music, and I want to move them from a negative state potentially to a positive state. So moving somebody from isolation to aspiration is the idea. And if you ask me more about the actual core experience, alright, good, yeah. Right, so that is the plan. So here we go. 10 minutes. It's handy, that clock. Right, okay. And good, silence. So I'm going straight for a drum machine today, the 808. Look at that. So let's give this a blast. Okay. Just do anything. Good, I'm splurging now. Whoa, sorry about that. I'm here. Okay, I'm back. Right, can everybody see now? Oh, I knew I'd forget. Oh, it's Jingle Bells. Don't want to do that. Excellent. Ah. Right. Okay. Right, okay. Well, there's a splurge. So I'm going to bounce that out. So I'll just call that one. I'll just save it and then I'll just save it and move on. Okay, so that's right. So that's the drum splurge. Right, okay. Cool. Right, we'll open up a new project now. And I'm back. Right. chaos. Right. Okay. Continuing the splurge. So I think what I'll do is we'll find a background. Time another 10 minutes, see where I get up to. Oops. Onto a B section now. I'm ahead of the clock. Oops. So get rid of that. I don't want that. Hi Dastardly, hi Lenny. So I was miles away doing this. Okay. What am I doing? Need some chords. Right, let's do some chords. Right, so I'm on the B section now. That's A. B, 10 minutes. I'll see where we get up to. Any questions and I'll stop and answer anything. But I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to use Cthulhu. I've forgotten this. E, right. So let's get some chords on the go. So I really like this program Cthulhu because it just allows me to get chord voicings absolutely bang on, which is super handy. So just how a chord moves from one to the other, really good. Otherwise I'll be sitting here just trying to figure it out or drawing it in. It's a bit more it's a bit more inspirational. That's when it works. Okay, right. Go a bit higher. we make it a major 7? Sure, in case it's a dominant 7. Which I tend to avoid those chords. I can never get them to sound really good. We've got a D minor. Done. Right. Two seconds. So this is really interesting. This is cracking up there. All right. 2 seconds. So what's quite interesting here is that, and a bit spooky, is just how things are. Yeah, there's a bit of a spike when I go to the bigger screen. I'll tell you what that'll be with. I'll be able to... Right, it's on multi-core. Alright. I'll just go back to the other window. Okay, I mean part of that CPU spike because of, although I've got an M1 Mac Pro, believe it or not, that spike, I'm running everything under Rosetta, you see. Anyway, okay, right, so what was I saying? Yeah, so regarding the actual core experience, so we're moving a listener from one state to another state, so a state of isolation to a state of aspiration, and sort of just by kind of having done the ACE exercises, it's sitting there in the subconscious, and it kind of, you know, when I remember about it, it comes out. You know, it could be wandering about on your own on a dark street in London. And then eventually, you find a party. So there you go. So that's pretty good. It's working. Okay, I think we'll probably go a bit longer with this. Good time. Okay, just get out again. Okay, and then we need to build a thing. We need to release some tension. Let's do that quick. Right, and I think we'll do it here. I like how take that out. Okay, and then we're off again with this. Okay, what are we up to? 2.5 minutes there. I suppose we'll have to have some sort of a breakdown. And that's where we end. Okay, great. Now, I think that's how I'm going to stop with that one. So I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to do another track. Lights out, that's what it's called. Okay. New project. And I'm back. Alright, so I'll just quickly flick the camera back. Right, so that wasn't a bad splurge. Has anybody got any questions they want to ask me just before I kind of smash into the next one? Okay. How do you do the curve filter? You hold down Alt and then just pull. If you go near the line, it'll go a different colour, and then you can just pull it. Well, I have an Ableton Live filter already set up, and then it's just a question, of like holding Alt, and then you can get that exponential curve thing going. So that's how I do that. Okay, another splurge. So, how many have we got on? Oh, I've got 6 on. So just a reminder of kind of what we're doing. Let's have a look. We'll check back at the machine. Here we go. The automatic music making machine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 9 ideas. 10, 11. So we should have 12. I'm going to try and do some other mini splurges as well, because really I want to make sure I've got tons of ideas. It might be nice to have like 30, wouldn't it, by Wednesday? Apparently the Thriller album, Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones went through 600 tracks to get the tunes for that album. So I mean, this is the thing, if you're wondering what I'm doing, why I'm not stopping on a song, is because the route to musical quality is through quantity, and I can definitely vouch for this. I mean, I'm not allowed to have an opinion, but I can hear like the first idea and me warming up, as we kind of go along. So on this card, I think Don't Feel the Same, open, if we remember doing that. So I'm scoring my addiction and ace score, so I'm just keeping an eye on the addiction, but because I'm going live and your guys are watching, it's almost like it's kind of like a performance, I can't, I've got to be way more professional, which is great, because by having you there watching me, I'm just like so much more professional than I normally would left to my own devices. So that's really good, so I thank you all for that. So yes, the addiction score, very important, because addiction, it's a bit like when you're at school and you had a great game that you wanted to play there with your friends, and you went home and you couldn't wait to get back, despite all the struggles of having to do things you probably didn't want to do when you were there. So addiction scores are very, very important, so I keep an eye on that, and if it starts to drop a bit, then I'll change the process a bit. Okay, so what was it? Yeah, and then the ace score was a 9, because we did really feel like yesterday on the last splurge that again we were going from isolation to aspiration. I played some of the parts live, which was good, and splurged multiple parts, so that was the wins. And then I put down, need to splurge harder sometimes, going through the motions, need to cast the net wider, so that's quite important to bear that in mind. Be more diverse and reckless, more chaos, so these are the opportunities. Guitar splurge, the guitar's going to have to come out. Now, doing the reason, if you're wondering, I'm not doing the guitar, there's a couple of reasons. And then I did do one tweak, which is just to put the update the template with the microphone safe thing, so when I press solo it doesn't cut me off. So that's just the machine. So the machine's looking quite healthy. You know, there's plenty there, and there will be more. So that's good. Okay. So I think we'll do another splurge, and then I'm gonna have to think about doing more with kind of guitars. So I might do a session with guitars tomorrow, I think. But the reason I don't do guitars is because all of my kind of diverse influences are all from electronic music, and it's that combination of, and this has been throughout my career, by the way, it's always been me trying to kind of fuse guitar music, live music with electronic music, and that's always been the case since my very first album when I was like 18 or something. I was in a metal band, and I was really into rave music, and I was trying to put M1 rave pianos on stuff that was like super heavy back then in 90, God knows what, early 90s. So it's just really important, I think, for my style that I start from that electronic point of view. When I start doing just guitars, I start sounding a little bit, because there's no resistance of other things there. It's just me and the guitar, so I tend to kind of just come up with what I think is quite generic stuff. So this way it feels easier for me to be a bit more unique and to like tap in previous influences and then bring them into a different genre. Okay, but there will be some sort of guitar thing, and I've got a plan. I've got this really cool way of actually recording guitars at a low latency, and just being to like access all of your patches as well, and almost like use guitar presets, a bit like going through a synth, which is pretty cool. But I will probably reveal that tomorrow. So that'll be a good one, because actually one of the problems I was having with recording guitars and computers is the latency. So the more and more I've been getting back into guitar and shredding, the more and more I can feel like the latency on a computer. So I need like super fast latency when I'm recording, or I just hate it. I hate the way like the picking sound, everything goes completely like slightly fractionally wrong, and it just does my head in because I'm just more aware. So I found a way to actually get round that and to be able to monitor super fast and to be able to record into Ableton also with no latency, but also have the monitoring on Ableton lower. So in fact, look, with this technique it's really good because you can actually have a whole track live, with all of your synths and stuff, instead of kind of bouncing them out. If you just want to quickly add a guitar, you can do that, even if like the latency on Ableton Live's like massive, like 40 milliseconds or something like that. If you're like a thousand odd samples, and the latency's huge, you can still monitor in zero almost, and record, and the audio will go in zero. But I will reveal that power up tomorrow. But if I forget, better remind me. Right, here we go. Alright, let's find something inspiring. Discovery, isn't it? Discovery. 10 minutes, here we go. Let's see what happens in 10 minutes. Okay. So random. Where am I going? What am I doing? Come on, focus. Okay, I quite like the modular stuff. I don't like actually doing it myself. It's quite good when somebody's done the work. and then I can just come along and, you know, just use it. I'll do. I'll stretch out for 8 bars. Okay, that's all I need. Something like this. Roughly will do. Oh, God. Right. What is it? Record it in. So I just need that little answer phrase, roughly. Right, and there we go. Let's save this as. Okay. Let's have a look at the chart. Phew. Okay, any questions, anybody? Anybody want to ask me anything? I better just check back. How's everybody finding the morning sessions? Is it useful? Oh, right, yes, well, I'll show you, right. Hi, Z. Yes, well, I have this automatic music making machine, right, which is a way of, like, it's really containers, and it tracks the process of creativity in music. Well, actually, it works across the board. I started a new machine, which I can show you. Let's just get this up. So this is a new machine. So basically, we're just splurging, we're just creating ideas, we're not actually finishing anything, and that's absolutely totally deliberate to do that because, as you can see, I've got these columns, and all of these columns are different processes that lead you up to actually finishing music, okay? But if I can get to it, we can have a look at the old one. Alright, so here we go. This is where, this is a well-used one. So, me and Thomas, we set up a royalty-free streaming service, and there's something like, it's all of the splurges and finished tracks that I've done over the sort of 2 and a bit years as McLaughlin and Hutch, and there's something like 415 tracks that are finished. So that's how powerful this machine is. So imagine having 415 finished bits of music. Not saying they're all brilliant, mind. That you can actually put out there is a pretty cool thing. So we have the sketchbook. So this is where all the old ideas are, and I often go back to old ideas. So these are all the. So that's all of that. These are the splurges. So these are the ideas. These are more ideas on top of the ideas that I've already got there. And then we'll have these different processes. So whether I take a splurge or something out of the sketchbook, it would go into one of these columns. So a discovery is just another further splurge on an idea. A draft is kind of drafting the ideas if you're going to present the idea to somebody. Done is where you do everything to get the track to a state of being finished, where you can make a decision on whether you want to release it or not. So this is really important understanding, because what you don't want to be doing in a done session is actually mixing a track, because that's a massive. I mean, what is the point of mixing something that you're not going to release? I mean, very rarely does a mix make or break an idea, so compositionally, everything that you need to get done is done, and if you decide you're not going to release it, then it can go to the sketchbook. Okay, all it means is, doesn't mean anything's a bad idea when it goes to the sketchbook. All that means is it's just you don't want to work on it at that point of time for whatever reason. Okay, and then we have release. So everything that you're planning on releasing, there you go. So I mean, I've got all my releases there coming up. And again, stuff, I might then change my mind. Oh, well, I'll take it out and put it in the sketchbook. I've decided not to release it. But at any point, things can go in the sketchbook. And the sketchbook's not a bin. It's somewhere where we can, go and get ideas. So sometimes I'll splurge on an old idea. It might be a finished idea. It's just another way of getting inspiration. But for the process of these morning sessions, and because I'm doing a little bit more further research into mastery, So that sounds good. And this really is like a focus of my coaching, is to help people follow their path of one of mastery, um, which is basically the idea of trying to move towards something that's objectively perfect. Well, we can't have perfect, but we can have an objective perfection. It just keeps changing, and we keep working towards it. It's like the horizon; you never ever get to it. Um, and when you finish and make music, it's a snapshot of how you are in time, and then you move on to the next thing. And over time, you're collecting this data. When you're finishing stuff, it's a fixed thing. You can't do anything with that. But what you can get is the data that you get off those projects is very, very reliable and excellent at improving your overall practice. So that's why, when you look at my template, which was part of this, that I have a system to actually develop the live template here. That's why part of the reason I'm making music fast is because I have a certain set amount of instruments that I always use, a bit like a band. That's how I think of the template. At the core of this, really, it's drums and 3 other musicians. That's how I think about it. Sometimes 4. And they all have their instruments, so we've got the guy on keys who plays Juno and arpeggios here. And what I do is just like a band member, they'll get like upgrades. So, when I first started this template, he had nothing but the reverb and delay that was actually on the returns, and then I upgraded, putting a more specific delay that wasn't shared across the tracks to that player. We've got the track spacer on, we've got the virtual mixer with VCC. So that's kind of like the bass player's a good one because he's got like his LFO thing for automating stuff. Tal chorus, his own specific setting that's ready to go. On the Echo Boy, RC30 for a bit of kind of space around it, so they all get sort of like upgraded. And the reason they're upgraded is because there's a purpose to upgrade them, that actually they're going to get used multiple times. And of course, when you're doing this, you're developing your style. So I hope that answers the question, Z. And the other thing is I don't know if you've been on before, but I'm running these morning sessions probably indefinitely because they're really good. But at the moment, I'm just doing idea creation. So we're doing the splurge. That's just writing lots of ideas. And that's going to be happening right up to the last splurge session will be a Wednesday morning. And then after that, we're going to work through the automatic music making machine. So we're going to work through the automatic music making machine, and what you're going to do is you're going to see some pretty cool stuff, I'd imagine, because we'll be going into discovery. But the interesting thing is, as we start moving through the machine and you start kind of getting ideas pumped through it, we can start exercising different creative muscles, because it's like this is the thing about it's the gym thing, isn't it? So like at Christmas, I'm going to set up the coaching gym, and you'll be able to come and like talk to me in a set period of time on Zoom, okay, face to face on a camera, and have a coaching session with me. But and that could be a group coaching session, it can be individual. We'll see how it happens. I think it's very exciting. But obviously, with the automatic music making machine, when you're looking at something like that, you can you're exercising different muscles in the process. So you've got when you're in as you go along here, especially over in these areas, done and release, the ideas that the way you're approaching the music becomes a little bit more kind of concrete, a little bit more yes no answers, so it's more to do with when you're in release, mixing. So mixing, turn the hi-hat up, turn the hi-hat down, cut a little bit of fuzzy top end off a guitar. Okay, it's just those are all binary concrete actions, aren't they? But what you can do is you can mix it up. You can do some of those actions, but then you can be splurging as well, and it's a bit like exercising two different muscles, isn't it? So we've got the divergent thinking here, super creative, all channels of creativity open, and then you've got the convergent, yes, no, binary concrete stuff happening as we come down the other end of the scale over here. And what we can do at any point is we can exercise different muscles. So sometimes what I like to do, because I feel if you've ever been in a situation like writing a load of music and then right now I've got to mix it, and then you've got to go to the mixing stage, when you're coming back to writing again, it takes a bit for you to get going. So if you just keep splurging, you can keep that creative muscle sort of alive, and it's always evolving and always developing. And it doesn't matter, you don't have to have big things happening in every splurge. Incrementally, you'll find things are changing and morphing at times into your own style. Sometimes you'll find something that just blows up, like, wow, never heard anything like that. And then you'll go down that route, and then it might not be appropriate for you for an artist to completely do that music. It might be because of the machine, you might set up a whole different project that you release, or you might take some of those wild ideas and mix them up into your other kind of styles. So the power of this is amazing. The other thing that's very interesting that you will probably find is when we come to listen to ideas, because let's say, we're going to do, possibly I might do an EP. When you hear all of these ideas, what we'll be able to do is actually curate the ideas in a direction. So not only does the ace happen in the actual each track, going from isolation to aspiration, okay, but it can also happen across multiple tracks on an EP or an album. So that's quite exciting as well. Or even if you're doing multiple albums or multiple EPs, because you've got such an abundance of ideas, you can curate into a direction, can't you? Which is absolutely brilliant, Sean, that's absolutely brilliant. That's just, honestly, that makes my day, and why these sessions are great for me. Getting up in the morning and doing something creative, it's a very special time in the morning, and I must admit that every day that I've got up and done these sessions, my day has gone perfectly well and has been great. Touch wood. Thanks, C. Oh, well, that's good. See, yes. So just keep coming back. So I go over things and what have you, and then you get to see inside of that process, and how I approach things, But since doing, the running an automatic music making machine, it just allows me to, also work on multiple ideas. I mean, that's an incredibly powerful thing to do, is being able to just work on 4 ideas all at once, all at different stages, and things are finishing and things are starting and things are in the middle, and it's just being super creative all the time, and it's keeping track of it. I used to just work like most producers, working in series, because I didn't have any system of tracking things. I was just like, oh, that's a good idea, I'll finish that, and what I would do is, what would happen is I would have to fight an idea. It might start well, and then I'd get stuck, and then I'd have to fight that idea into submission. And I had no sort of objective opinion. It was all just very subjective. And the other thing with one of the rules of these splurges is basically you don't want to be listening to them after this session's done. I'm not going to listen to any of the music I've made for at least 7 days. The minimum's 3 days. Okay. So we'll be listening back to these on the Wednesday, which will be interesting, because you guys who were here at the beginning won't have heard them. So it'll be fascinating to see what we think of them and what our heads tell us about these ideas. Okay, so I think that is everything for today, and I'll be back on tomorrow morning. At the usual time of 5:30. So really looking forward to it. It's been a blast. Alright, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow morning, 5:30. Okay, and the link will be in its usual place. Yes, thanks Sean. Brilliant. Alright. Catch you later.